Hyo-been, you've been out and about this week. You have been covering the
Yes.
taekwondo event, a
Right.
big taekwondo event in Muju, and also you were at this whole fashion week.
That's
A
right.
very busy season for you. And speaking of season, the month of September marks the beginning of autumn here in Korea, and with it, harvest season. And in Seoul, sounds that once echoed a century ago are being brought back to life. And Hyo-been, you are going to tell us how this tradition has been brought back to life, right?
That's right, Swa. So a few weeks ago, I remember that we covered a news about a dance about the Jongmyo Jeryeak, a memorial rite for the past kings. But today, I would like to introduce something different, which is another important rite held during the Joseon Dynasty that came back to stage recently. Let's take a look. Sounds and moves from a century ago are once again coming to life. This is the Sajik Jeryeak, the music and dance that accompanied the royal ritual, the Sajik Daeje, dedicated to gods of land and grain, praying for abundant harvest and the well-being of the people from the Joseon Dynasty to the Korean Empire. This week, the National Gugak Center staged the Sajik Jeryeak to honor the ritual's cultural value, which was recognized as a national heritage.
The Sajik Jeryeak was a powerful symbol statehood. The music performed during the rite embodied the highest artistic and philosophical ideals of the time, carefully managed by the state itself.
This performance recreated the version from the Korean Empire era. It begins with the emperor's arrival at the Sajik altar and follows the ritual until his departure. Unlike modern reinterpretations, the focus here was on faithfully restoring the music and dances of the past rather than reinventing them. But Sajik Jeryeak also carries a painful history. During the Japanese occupation period, the ritual was abolished and its music and dances were lost. To mark the 1988 Seoul Olympics, the Sajik Daeje was revived after an 80-year absence, and the National Gugak Center presented it as a stage performance for the first time last year.
Reviving the Sajik Jeryeak is not only about restoring music and dance. It's about reclaiming our cultural identity and national pride, bringing it back in its full form, as it was performed in the Korean Empire, holds deep historical meaning.
Despite the history and essence, the Sajik Jeryeak is still less recognized by the public. The National Gugak Center hopes to have the ritual eventually inscribed on UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List, just like the Jongmyo Jeryeak.
We are working with the goal of having the Sajik Daeje officially recognized as a cultural treasure and eventually as a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage.
And so, more than a century after being silenced, the voices of the Sajik Jeryeak rise again, reminding us that heritage, once lost, can be reborn to inspire a new generation.
Wow, Hyo-been, I think it's really meaningful how they revived this ancient ritual, also very touching. But could you tell us a little bit more about Sajik Daeje and Sajik Jeryeak?
Of course. So basically, Sa means the soil and Jik means the grain. And during the Joseon Dynasty, Korea was an agrarian society, so a good harvest was essential for the people's well-being. That's why the king himself presided over the Sajik Daeje, one of the most important state rituals praying for the stability of the nation and prosperity for the people. There's even a phrase called Jongmyo Sajik, which shows how the royal ancestor rites and the Sajik ritual were considered the two most important ceremonies of the time. But from a modern perspective, experts say Sajik may hold even more significance because it was a ritual for the people's happiness and abundance, not just for kings and queens.
Very interesting. And watching your coverage really makes me feel like I'm living in Joseon Dynasty. And it was very interesting to see those traditional attire and also instruments as well.
A great point, Bella, because I felt the very same way as well. And the National Gugak Center actually told me that it made a great effort to design the stage to recreate the original setting. Let's hear from the director.
We recreated the stage exactly based on the original floor plans of the Sajik ritual. That way, the audience can feel as though they are actually present at the ceremony. Around 150 dancers and performers also took part in this production, adding to the grandeur of Sajik.
A very meaningful and very enlightening coverage. Thank you very much, Hyo-been, for your hard work.
Thank you, Hyo-been.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.